learning yourself all the time. Today, I'm learning so much with you. As you keep on questioning, I'm trying to challenge myself to answer, and that is also a part of learning.
Now, what about the feedback from these different organizations that you work with? You contact the company and you are trying to sell your idea of sustainability or your approach to sustainability in their business operative. What usually are their response? I mean, how are they buying into this idea?
So, what I do generally, I have meetings with senior managers, and that if they are, like even approach me, meaning that I can understand that okay, they have at least a will to listen to me, and that makes me more comfortable. Thank you very much for inviting me for this podcast. I'm Dr. Renuka Thakore. I'm based in UK, and I desire to help the community and build the capacity for sustainable and equitable future. So thank you for invitation.
You're welcome. All right. Here in Obehi Podcast, we sort of pride ourselves be really in storytelling in that we like to explore it a lot. So, could you tell me more about what you remember of your past background? Okay, like I don't know, were you born in the UK? Could you say something about that?
Oh, thank you very much. No, I was not born in UK. I moved to UK when I was 42, and I had a real career change at that time. I am from India originally, and I'm very proud of my family. I have a very supportive husband, and I have two daughters who are both aerospace engineers. And the story goes on like that, that I moved to UK because of my daughters. Generally, daughters or children follow parents, but here is a case where parents have followed children. So it is interesting that they both started international education at UK, and I was called upon by my younger daughter saying that, oh, I feel lonely, please come over. And I came here and I thought for myself that what should I be doing here now? Because I had a very busy and very, I would say very exclusive life as a wife and partner of a very big company, which was run by my husband. So I thought, let me go into something new. And I found my passion in environmental management. And then that grew into sustainability. And eventually now I'm just desiring, like my passion has moved to mission of educating people about sustainability and equitable you know, leadership, or you can say the practices. Thank you.
Now, I am interested in you growing up in India. And now, would you like to spend some time on your infancy in India? That is interesting for me.
I'm from a very progressive family. I was third child of my father parents, and my father was a very big industrialist, but SME, small scale industrialist, and he had also won an award for his product uh, from the president of India. So I was in a very, I was raised in a very progressive, family who had the legacy of looking to the world through science and engineering. And I myself also grew with my father, and mainly I spent my teenage years with my father in factories and meeting people who were all in engineering field. I have two brothers who are also engineers. So, and my husband is also engineer. So and my daughters are also engineers. So we are mainly, family of engineers. I got I wasn't really, of course, I would not say very intelligent, but I was doing well in my schooling. I stood normally first or second in the class and so on. And then I was admitted to electrical engineering. But I married, and did not complete that degree in the last year. And that is how became a full housewife later on. But I never got away from engineering or business and also education. And these three always remain my passion. um, I, took all the initiatives that I can do to impart education to my daughters and their friends and families and so on. Like I used to tutor plenty of different ages students, for free, because I had time to do that, and I always loved to do that. And in construction industry also, I did very well with my husband, looking after or building 9 to 10 complexes, which were around 900 houses in India. So that is how I think, the main thing here is to that I was fortunate to have all my family members who supported, the way I lived and what I wanted to live. So that is very important. I believe that we should create. Looking into my experiences, I think we should create a support system between us, that everyone can flourish and aspire their dreams and achieve their objectives, whatever they are looking for.
Tell me something about what was your kind of projection? What were you looking at in the future when you were still like much younger? Now you look into the future. What were you hoping to become, or actually working to become as an adult?
That is very good question. I was always passionate about teaching, education, and engineering, as I mentioned. When I was small, I always used to play. Uh, we children play a role model, and I used to always play teacher, teacher, or becoming an engineer. So that is always I wanted to be. Um, However, growing from there, I really never had something that I want to become very distinguished, but always wanted, to be unique, a unique person that can help people, who can, you know, be able to support anywhere, anyhow, whatever was in my reach. I was. I have always been a very accommodative and helpful people, and I appreciate myself for being that. I always want to support people, and that is what I think I always wanted to be.
That is very interesting. And today you are talking about sustainability or something within that line. Could you explain to me where that idea is coming from? What are you really doing in this area?
That is again very interesting. I invested when I came to UK. I invested myself into education, even knowing what practices are there and what are the theories behind environment management and sustainability. Initially, I started as environment management, but I found that it was just a part of sustainability landscape. And also going further, we are generally talking about just three pillars: economic, social, and environment. Of course, they are the three main pillars, but there are plenty of, uh, sub factors or credentials or themes, you can say, beneath that. And also, what I believe, sustainability is contextualized. It is a definition that does not fit anyone, does not fit everyone, because people can define or understand sustainability from their context, and plenty of other things also play a role in it, their own beliefs, but also the construction of the society in which they have been flourished or human I mean grown, and the resources that you have in understanding and practicing. So today, if I say that for a very poor family, if I talk about sustainability, that, oh, you care about environment, it is not going to make any sense, because uh, they are worried about living, and they are worried about how I can use this my environment, whatever is within my reach, to get living for me. And so, if I say that you leave that and do not use it, it's not going to make sense, right? So, I have to make sure that, first of all, the living is given. So, and I believe, ecological capital is the one which is the source of our economy. And so I have to make sure that they get the living, but also at the same time I have to make them understand that, okay, whatever is nurturing you, make whatever is making you live, you should and replenish it, you should maintain it. And that is how then I can explain them further. So sustainability is a fluid. It is a definition that can be adopted by everyone, but depending on their context. And that is what I really appreciate. People don't appreciate, for like many of them I have seen that they remain in their own context and try to preach, and so it remains in silo and not reach many people. The message does not reach many people.
All right. So anybody, like you said, can actually apply sustainability in their own way. Um, but how do you apply it in your way, in what you are preaching? What is your central message in sustainability? Help me understand that.
Thank you. The central message is that, you have to consider multi-dimensional sustainability, as well as multi-level sustainability, as well as, the whole life cycle of whatever you are doing. So it's a real complex thing, but we can break it down in a small units, such as, like, if I want to eat anything today, I need to think that what I am eating, first of all, that whether it is affordable and whether it is healthy. Second, where I am sourcing it from, and when I am sourcing, say, from local places also, but then I have to look at the practice what they have followed, and so on. So it's a real understanding we want to develop for anyone, and it is very hard for each and everyone to have such understanding. And for that, experts who understand that have to make it very easy for people at low level, or I mean not low level, at grassroots level, that everyone can understand that we have to make tools. Like, for example, nowadays, if you look at in language, we have a very uh, you know uh, I mean, say, very advanced language. Okay, some of them use simple language, some of them use just words, and some of them use very complicated and high profile language. Okay, so language is a tool to communicate, and everyone use it according to their own needs. and according to their own resources, according to their own abilities. Like that, we have to use sustainability also according to our affordability, according to our, understanding. And those who understand well have to make it able for others to understand well. So I think there's a responsibility for everyone. Those who can provide advanced understanding, they should make it simple and make it available to people. At the same time, the people who don't understand have to take responsibility to be able to understand and grow in it.
Thank you for that. Now, when you look at maybe the project that you work in, or maybe I should say the partners that you work with, uh, how do you describe the scope? Are you mostly within the business environment, within the NGO, governmental organizations, or all of them? Could you help me understand so I know where to focus on more?
Okay, I have three stands like strengths. One is I come connect with communities. Second, I connect with businesses, and the third is, like connect with uh, education. Okay, so when I connect with communities, like they are from anywhere, any part of the world, and they join my network is free to join for everyone. So I get plenty of people joining that. We have 7,000 coordinators from 165 countries, and they have joined this network. Now in this network, I just allow them to do their own things. There is no mandatory or anything, but however, there's a central line that whatever you do must impact positively towards sustainability. Okay, so and uh, initially I was doing some meetings which were weekly and monthly, where we brought everyone together and everyone was able to speak about themselves or what was their so we used to use sorry I used to have one theme, say for example systems thinking, and then we used to invite people to speak, and then after all have spoken we used to discuss it, and maybe we never came up with one solution, but we definitely understood each other what we mean. And when we came out of the meeting, we were on an advanced level of understanding and a better understanding of different perspectives that lie within that theme. And that is how I deal with communities. Second is businesses. Businesses are driven by set rules, like what objectives they want to achieve, and they have to do that for the benefit of the organization and the benefit of the relevant stakeholders. And so I generally look at standards, regulations, and policies, and there is a standard way to go about that. Okay, so when I deal with businesses, it is about all standard procedures that normally is being used. I take a bit of advanced pathway in that about building leadership in it, so that whoever relates with me are able to take the leadership in their own role and especially drive towards sustainable pathways. And in education, what I believe that currently we have mass production of managers who are then only 10% or 20% of them recruited in one or the other way, and plenty of your our investment within education gets lost or waste because there are not enough employment with the same criteria, or the dynamics in the business and the real world is so much changing that they are left nowhere. Generally, if you assess the education, what they have got and what they are working after 2 or 3 years, you will see that uh, they hardly take the education forward, or they are benefited from the education. So with the education, what I feel that personalized education trainings are very important, along with the basic knowledge of like chemistry, biology, and so on. And even and critical thinking must be developed within students or learners, so they can go out as a mature managers and see what problems are coming up, and be prepared to find solutions. I also don't say that these all type of students or future managers would find the right solution, but we should be able to produce managers who are innovative and who have capacity to take some steps, and also they have ability to survive with the failure. They are able to exhibit entrepreneurship for the society and for themselves in various areas. So that is how I take and I relate in these three different areas. Thank you.
Now, what about the feedback from these different organizations, different branches of organization that you work with? Say maybe, for example, you contact a company and you are trying to sell your idea of sustainability or your approach to sustainability in their business operative or operation. What usually are their response? I mean, how are they buy into this idea?
Thank you. Thank you. There is a lot of resistance in this buying the idea immediately. But if the organizations are pressured by external environments such as regulation or even reputation or cutting edge, performance, then they do buy in. So yes, sometimes, not sometimes, many times, there's a resistance here. However, if you the plan here is to show them very systematic steps, slow by slow, they can grow. Also, at every step, we need to establish some benefits for them, tangible and I mean short term, medium term, and long term benefits should be established for them. Then you can buy in them better. Uh, and also, you have to take ownership of making them more comfortable that, okay, I have some better tools and technologies like and easy tools for adoption, or maybe I will train your or I will provide you the resources that you may not have. And so many of other things, like, you have to go through it, make it possible for them to jump into this idea with many tools. Of course, so what I do generally, I have meetings with senior managers, and that if they are, like, even approach me, meaning that I can understand that, okay, they have at least a will to listen to me, and that makes me more comfortable. And after an hour or so of meeting, i I would get their buy-in. Also, it is important that we do not stress them with all the responsibilities, and they are able to then give us some mid managers or someone to work with, and that would be very helpful to anyone to work with mid managers rather than senior managers. Of course, senior managers are taking the main responsibility and the decision around it. I would like to just share one example, like what I did as this buy-in, I worked on one experiment, I mean, a research, which was done by BSI certification body, that why anyone would be interested in getting a certification. There are plenty of interesting cases that they might be doing environment management system, like they might have implemented environment management system in their company, and but they may not want certification. And so, what is the incentive for them to have a certification? And I carried out a research to find financial returns of certification. And I found that when any company, like I did 100 companies, I compared the performance of 100 companies, 100 with certification and 100 without certification. And I identified that, the companies, those who are certified, they get immediate return of interest in the first 3 years, that is certification time, uh, that their return of sales increases by 6.5 percentage, and that is huge. If you don't measure, you won't understand. And so if you give some quantitative numbers to the senior manager that you will be benefiting in this way, then you can buy in. So probably, within this sustainability, many, and I was also leading sustainability from the social point of view. Of course, that is very, very important. But if we can relate it with economic sustainability, and also, with the same with environmental sustainability, if we can put some numbers to it, then it is more buying product. Okay, I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Now you talked of also of resistance. Maybe when you are meeting a company, or maybe try to sell the idea to the people how to be sustainable, or the idea of sustainability, that are usually resistance. I also like the idea that you have carried out a research where you have examined about or over 100 different companies to see how maybe they can benefit from what you are selling to them. Now, from your understanding, why are there resistance initially? And I believe that maybe at a point, some of them do yield or do buy into this idea of sustainability. But the question really is, why do you think that there are some resistance initially?
uh, the general understanding of people is that when you do anything extra apart from your regular business, it is going to cost you. And even if it is not going to cost you money wise, it is definitely cost you time. And if you fail in that, there is also a cost of reputation, like you will lose something. So any change, people are always resistant to change. um, However, I think since a few years, I think this last decade has been very, very interesting, that the awareness for sustainability has grown a lot. People understand that it is about saving, like saving your own resources, natural resources, and so on. And then also, increasing your resources. That is how we can increase biodiversity, how we can contribute to ecology, and so on. So the time has changed now, but still we need more about it. So I think resistance is just normal. It has, though the sustainability, we have been, it is a traditional word, like how you sustain your life, how you sustain your living, and all that. So sustainability is not a new thing, but approaching it from the environmental point of view, approaching it in from the business point of view is new. And so any new concept is always, I think, having such problem as resistance.
Now, let's look at how you would approach a typical company and what you would propose to them. Say maybe this company is into um, content creation, for example. They create content for another company, and now you are meeting them, proposing them this idea of sustainability within their company. Knowing that this is what they do, what would you propose to them, and what idea would you recommend for them in terms of sustainability as an idea within their company?
That's very interesting question. I like it. You know, when you are developing a content, you may think that, oh, I don't have to do much about sustainability because I'm just writing it, isn't it? So there are plenty of things you can think of. One, what you are writing in the content itself. It could be more about, like, whatever you are writing should be more tend to capture sustainable practices. So you can improve your content that whoever reads get one or two advice about sustainability within it. So second, you can always reduce the content material, and that would decrease your impact on carbon emissions, like use of energy, what you write and how it is captured, and also the use of energy will be less for the people who read it, throughout that. So maybe the content should be uh, reduced as far as possible, unless it is not hampering its message, like reducing its message, right? um, Secondly, you can also look at the uh, text size. You can look at what interface you are using, um, and you can look at its video quality, if it is video or something like media quality, in many other ways, like if it is paper or online and whatever. You can also think of where you are storing it, uh, and so it could be plenty of, and then how you are replicating that material to different audiences to make a better impact towards in the world. So maybe you can put it on different social media, websites, or you can use it as a feed to plenty of people so that it is widely spread out with a less energy use, and so on. First of all, with a content writing, you should stop writing on paper. If you are doing so, using flyers or printing and so on. And there also, if you are really want to use as a print or like a hard copy, then you can think of vegetable ink or other ink which has less impact on environment. uh, you can use the printers that are more efficient, and many things. You can think of, again, the whole range of life cycle within whatever the activities you are doing. You can think that way. Okay. And now when you are, say, for example, if you are delivering a content in a big um, arena, if we are going there and delivering a talk or your content, then you can think of how people have traveled there, what is the carbon emission of the arena, whether that arena is low carbon, or whatever the instruments you are using are low carbon, and so on. So I will stop here. It's a range of things anyone can think in their business activities, that how they can reduce their carbon emissions or become more sustainable. There is also a social aspect of whether you have accessibility within your content, whether it is accessible to everyone. So you have to produce also a content that can be used by people who have special needs, like hearing or reading, or understanding, and so on.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I really do. That is a lot of value what you shared there.
Thank
Now,
you.
but I'm curious. Uh, I'm curious of the foundational principle of sustainability. When you tell people that it is better to apply the principle of sustainability in their idea. They need to understand this principle, otherwise it's not going to work for them, because they need to compare and contrast. That they need to look at the model that they are currently applying in their business and the idea of sustainability, even though it might actually appear to be common sense. Because now the world that we are living in today is being overconsumed because of the way that we are operating. So, by common sense, we should just understand that if we relent a little bit or we change our way, then we are not only doing a favor to the earth, to nature, we are helping ourselves because, like I say quite often here, when we talk about these things, nature do not need us human beings to be nature. It is we human beings that need nature. So we are not doing favor to nature by being sustainable or respecting the basic principles of life. It is ourselves that we are saving. So that is what I mean by common sense. But of course, like it's often said, common sense is not common. So explain. What are the basic principles that guides sustainability according to how you observe the idea?
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is very important. Now, principles, there are a few principles, definitely, but principles can grow in itself, and your belief into those principles can grow when you practice. Okay, when you practice more and more. So, the one principle, like few principles I can share with you. One is systems thinking. It is complex. However, if you start thinking with anyone, as I mentioned, when you said content, it was for the first time I went into this, discussion of content writing, that how I can be sustainable. And because I had my principles in my mind, I thought around it, right? And I was able to describe you how we can become more sustainable in content writing. And the principles guiding me were, okay, first of all, you have to look at several environmental aspects. Second, and aspects are like water, energy, transport. These are all aspects, and like resource use. Um, and you have to think of all the aspects, that how you can, first of all, reduce the use of them. If you really want to use, how you can make the efficient use. Second, when you are using it, how can you stop wasting it? If you are wasting it, then how you can reuse the waste that is being produced or generated. And then how I can also, if I'm using the waste, how I can make it resources for another production. So that is the life cycle process. The first is, you have to understand environmental aspects that are related to your activities. Second, you need to understand the life cycle process about it. Third is system thinking, that, okay, if I am doing that, is it going to impact others around me? Whether it is higher level, lower level, and so on. Even in a family, whatever activity I'm doing, then is it going to impact my children? Is it going to impact my parents? Or it is going to impact my family as a whole, or house as a whole, property as a whole, and so on. So that is called system thinking, because we are part of our small system, big system, and the systems of systems. And so, like, if I take myself as a family, then I'm part of my family. If I take myself as a, neighborhood, then I'm part of my neighborhood. And I'm also a part of a global community. I'm also a part of, system of systems. That is, if I'm for example, food, whatever I consume is going to be part of transport, agriculture system, and so on. So it is part of systems of systems. So you have to think very, very broad. You have to think long term. You have to think the okay, life cycle process I have said, and that is very important, like where it comes from to where we are going. And so I think these are few examples as a start to think. And also, what alternatives I have. That is, again, you need to think, how can I become more innovative? How can I understand what are alternatives? So you have to keep learning, learning yourself all the time. Today I'm learning so much with you. As you keep on questioning, I'm trying to challenge myself to answer, and that is also a part of learning. So basic principles, as I mentioned: systems thinking, life cycle process, understanding your environment, also understanding your social aspects and your economic needs. Probably these are the few starting points. And then as you go on practicing and thinking on around it, I think you will develop a set of principles going forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I think you used the word system thinking more than 6 times here just now in your explanation. Could you please expand on that? What does it mean, system thinking?
Okay, let us think of uh, what do you say? Maybe, I don't know if you have come across any example of car tuning. Uh, like when people sometimes, if your car makes certain noise, you say, "Oh, it is not tuned," or if it uses a lot of petrol, you may say your car needs tuning. That is what I mean. If you change a little, even very little thing in your one car, that can have impact on all other parts of the car, because these all other parts of the car are working together as a whole system. And your steering, your wheel, your brake, these all are different parts of the system. They are all different components. They are called components. Now, that is a simple question for one thing. But if I take, say, buildings, because I have did my PhD in housing, it would be easier for me to give an example of buildings. Um, when I want to put any air conditioning, because I think you might be in a hot country, right? So generally you use an air conditioning to be comfortable. So if I use an air conditioning, then or implement, I mean, put an appliance of air conditioning in my house, then I need to close my windows. And why? So the function of window changes here. Also, the use of electricity changes here. Okay, and also the uh, what I feel changes here. Okay, so with one change, other parts of the system has to change. Again, if there is a problem, if I do not have electricity, then I have to open my window. I have to be comfortable. I have to drink a lot of water. My feeling will be different, and so on. So one change will change many other components of the system, and that is what I mean by systems thinking. Now, now looking at the sustainability and the current stage, we are trying to go to the renewable energy system. That is energy generated by solar and wind and so on. Now, when we are moving there, we have already we have plenty of problems to implement that system, because heat, water, they are all natural, and they are not reliable, that they will be coming every time 24 hours as we want. Okay, so we have to develop the instrument that can work with their variability. Even doing that, we will have to produce all the instruments and appliances that need new resources, such as, sometimes with the solar, we have some rare materials which we have to research and develop again. And recently now this all development is done. But now there is a question of uh, mass implementation, how to grow that practice more and more or make it mainstream. Now we need lot of skills for that, and there people dimension comes in play. We are not yet prepared with all that skills, or we do not have enough uh, people with those skills. And to transit them, we will have to educate them, we will have to impart them training and so on. Now while we are doing that, we will not be able to do our regular job that we have been doing and fulfill the living for that. So we need to again think how to decommission, decommission the fuel sources, how to stop them, and how to move these people skill, how to move our technologies, how to move our resources to renewable. And this is all so much complicated, and therefore it disturbs our systems. System of energy is now at the moment in a disturbed state, and we want to take it into a stable state. When we were in electricity, we found that okay, it was a bit stable because it was giving us energy um, unhindered, right? We were achieving that. And now what happens that plenty of people are not able to cope with the skill adjustment, cope with the training and so on. And there is a lot of uh, you know what you say, unemployment, loss of jobs and so on. So these are the problems when we are thinking of changing a system. Again, with energy efficiency, just one example. I have that model also with me. Uh, as I mentioned, I did my PhD in built environment and housing. Uh, Originally, in houses, we had a system of, like suppliers, electricians, and developers, customers, and products, and all that. But with the increased demand of energy efficiency, we had to had special people who can look after energy. We had a special group of architects who could look at the design stage where we can have this energy generation plant or any other appliances implemented and so on. So there was an additional need to complete the system. And that is what I mean about all through these all examples, that systems thinking.
Thank you so much for that. That is really very detailed. And now it is clear for people that are listening to us. That is, I really appreciate
I hope so.
that. Thank you for that. Now, but I was also thinking, okay, now this is human thinking. This is no longer machine thinking, system thinking. um, is it possible that there can also be a cultural angle to the sustainability agenda or approach, as it were? Is there anything you can say about that?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, very important. Cultural approach, people have been culturally. Um, Now, when I speak about sustainability, it is not only about, like environment. I also said that there is a social dimension, and that relates to just transition or equitable transition. And that, what I mean by that, if we or as a society we want to sustainable, then we should also include women and youth who are generally not part of the uh, uh, you know uh, earning or economy. Why I say that, some analysis or research show that when women are not in economy, we definitely lose their economic contribution. But also, there are a few communities, or culturally we think that women don't need to earn money. uh, they can just be a housewife and enjoy some societal benefits, and like that, generally they are not included in mainstream uh, economy. And that uh, does not allow us to get full benefit of what we should get from women in being in economy. And uh, like I come from Indian society, and generally there women are always treated as a housewife, or you can say, okay, husband would say, oh, you don't need to work because I'm working. And when there is any decision made in this family, again that is something like women never take part, because they are not earning. And generally it is seen as if the parent, or I mean father or brother or husband, takes the decisions, saying that, okay, we bring the money in the house, and so we are responsible to take the decisions. So I think this is um, common in many Asian. I have seen Asian countries. Maybe I don't know what is like. I'm not for sure. I've seen in most countries now, but and again in the business world, there are plenty of articles and research showing that many women. I mean, we are not at an equal rate of having women at CEO level and so on at higher level. Now, in recent experience, I am doing one Empower Her project, and I've seen in Africa and elsewhere in Asia as well that there are plenty of female graduates uh, compared to male graduates. I mean, they actually exceed the number of in compared to male. However, females are not prominent in leadership role or in careers. I mean, when it comes from the education to career, we generally lose 12 to 20% of women, and especially after marriage or after having a birth of a child, we definitely lose them. So this is all probably cultural things, and we should change that. We should be more supportive. From the business point of view, we should have policies that support women to come back to the work and also continue working while they are having family. So there should be some flexible policies and so on, so that they can survive, they can enjoy work and family both. At the family level, I think all male partners, whoever they are, like father, mother, brother, I mean father, brother, and husband or son, should take responsibility of supporting female in the family, so that they can enjoy their career life as much as the house life. So that is where I think we need to make a change. Also, when a child is born, we should not make distinction between a girl and a boy, and we should provide them equal opportunity to engage with various disciplines such as engineering, science, and art and design and whatever. So I think parents should take that initiative as well. So these are a few things I would say, and my own experience, as I mentioned, I have my daughters and both are aerospace engineers, and I have never made a distinction between a girl and a boy child. And I'm so fortunate that they are doing so well and responsible citizens they are now. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that. That is also important. You see, that is why we spend some time here talking about these things, because they need to be approached. People need to also help the decision maker understand the implication of some of this behavior those things that used to be considered as taboo, we can actually talk about them and try to understand what are the better way to approach them, because time is not always fixed. So our behavior too should not be fixed. Sometimes we should be able to evaluate and review our customs, our tradition, our way of life. Uh, one time I was saying that that thing that we refer to as culture is nothing more than an attitude that was sustained for some time and therefore become a way of life. If it is a way of life, therefore it is our custom and our culture. But that also mean, if I what I was doing there is try to demystify the idea that if maybe this culture have come down from somewhere and we are sort of abide by it. Of course, we should abide by it, because without such a society, without culture, the society will go into chaos. But we also must know that the culture is for the people. The people are not for the culture. So the people are supreme in this sense. So yeah, which you should be able to.
That's very well said. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. So yeah, what I wanted to say there now is what are the advantages? Because now again, we're trying to set the idea to people, either decision maker, policy makers, or business executive who are having people under them who should apply sustainability in their business or in their operation. But they might ask, what are the benefits for what? If that question were thrown to you, what would be your response?
Thank you. Thank you. It is, I think, very, very important question, because if they don't understand the benefits, um, no one is going to implement. But, you know, for the benefits, I think we have gone to a stage where nearly everyone accepts that becoming sustainable would bring benefits. Okay, but now there is different areas where they want to bring benefits, and I think now a range of things are coming together again. For example, green economy. Moving to green economy will definitely be using natural resources, meaning that non renewable sources, right? So, and also green economy has other aspects like using renewable energies, then um, using waste as a resources, like not using, we can like defining waste as resources, meaning that we want to go to zero waste world. um, Likewise, even with water and other, like as I mentioned about whole the range of environment aspects can come within this green economy. So, and second is just transition. As I mentioned, again, with the just transition, during the transition, we have to take care of that people don't lose job, but also gain further skills so that we can keep them in employment and so on. The third benefit is about making the world equal. The other way of saying is leaving no one behind. And we want equal. We want to stop people, that 1% of people who are making a huge profits, we want to stop, or we not stop, but we want to divert those resources into sharing all those resources to the public, which is the rest of 99%. And my thinking is that we have this net zero, like 10% of poverty, 20% of unemployment, and so on. But I don't think 10% or 20% is going to help us. If we want to make an equitable world, we have to work towards that 50% people who are at a lower than 50%, and we have to make that whole 50% uplift. We have to uplift them with capabilities that they can grow in themselves and share the public resources that we have in the world equally. And I think each and every government have this responsibility to do it. They have the power to do it. It is just, I am not sure what is stopping them, but they have a power. They are elected by the people to make changes, and they should take this initiative to change. When people is telling them that you are there to change, I think they should just take steps to change, and people will join them immediately. For example, like I have just rolled out this network. People know that I'm not giving anything extra to them. Joining collectively, moving somewhere, we will be going to a better place. And that is what I think government should be doing. What I find that there is a huge divide between businesses and community, and second, there is a huge divide between uh, uh, government policies and the community's desires. When government comes up with mandate, definitely show that there's a benefit for public, but when they are ruling, they are challenged by so many other areas that they completely forget that this was their mandate, and we are not benefiting from the mandate. It is changed. So, and it is not a case of one government. At every level, even the local government find a problem to engage with communities. And I would say equally, communities are also responsible, because communities take it as it is. They should come together. They should be responsible of bringing people together and putting their point to government, uh, uh, of course, peacefully, and they can make change. I think both levels, government, businesses, and communities, they should work from top level, top down towards, and as well as integrated from grassroots level. I think a lot of work is needed. A lot of things are to be done. Everyone should take the responsibility, and everyone should act, and act now.
Thank you so much for that. The action must be taken now. I like that. Um, Talking of action, some people they would like to work with you. So what would be the best way to reach out to you, those who want to connect with you?
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the best way to connect. But on LinkedIn, I have my profile open, and they have my email address as well. Like, it is simple. We have a website as well. So everything is open. And with your podcast, you can write my contact details so people can contact me.
Looking at what we have discussed today, what would be your final thoughts to conclude the conversation? What is your final message?
My final message, what I said is, try to understand your own activities, how you can become more sustainable in it. Try to be innovative in each and activity, and try to measure, try to write down those activities so that you understand what I was doing before and how I'm progressing, and that would motivate you every day. And finally, start acting now. You don't need to wait for anything. It is like a rolling stone. If you start rolling, you will gather and gather mass around it. So that's my message.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate the conversation. It has been a pleasure here talking with you.
Thank you. Thank you.